Guys, so I decided to come on here with a part 2 to the getting over your ex video. So I'm trying to, I'm like, I don't know, I'm just in this weird process, right? Not weird, really beautiful, weird. I call things that are really beautiful weird. I don't know why, but that's just what it is. And so I'm in this process of just following my heart and whatever comes up, whatever I feel inspired to do. So lately it's been sewing, and I'm really into like underwear. I will spend all of my money on underwear if I could. That used to be me when I was younger. And then I kind of grew out of that because then, you know, you become an adult and you get real bills, and then you realize that spending all your money on underwear is not is not feasible. That's not adulting, you know? So to kind of, and then so that like, that desire started bubbling up in me again. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't I make my own underwear, my own panties, and my own, like, you know, undergarments instead of spending money on that? So that way I'm killing two birds with one stone, right? I'm feeding my need to sew, learning through that process, because I used to sew, but I kind of gave up on it because learning a new thing is annoying sometimes, especially when you're an overthinker like me. But, or not even an overthinker, when you just feel the need to analyze everything, it can be overwhelming learning something new, because then you're like, you know, why am I not getting this? I'm so used to, and especially if you're used to just getting things, new things can be a challenge. So all of that to say, I started picking back up sewing, and I'm basically teaching myself, going through that process, and actually enjoying it now than I did when I was younger. And so I'm teaching myself how to make panties. So that's what I'm doing here. But back to what the actual purpose of the video was, which was to talk about exes and getting over them, right? So, you know, there's like a million videos and a million books and a million talks and a million whatevers about getting over an ex. And I find that a lot of them, majority of them, are based on this idea of this very like 3D idea, this very basic idea of like, you know, you just, it really, I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of that advice doesn't respect the healing process, and it doesn't really dig deep into what is really happening when you break up with someone and you can't get over them. Because, like, really think about it. There are so many people that we come into contact with on a regular basis, and they go, like, they go on about their day, and we don't think anything of it. We meet people on the subway, we meet people in the store, we meet people all the time, and we might speak, we might not. We go on about our day. So then why can't we do that with certain people? Because then, okay, there's the one side of it where, you know, complete strangers that you're running into, but then sometimes you date certain people or you become friends with certain people, and when they go, it's kind of like, okay, well, it is what it is. They left, people leave, fine, you know. You have a rational mind about it, you understand people leave. That's the natural progression of life. That's the way life goes. Nothing is forever. We shouldn't have attachments in life. So, you know, you have this understanding, right? And then you meet somebody and you guys have this time together. Then it ends, and afterwards you're like, I don't want it to end. I want them to come back. And you're kind of like holding on to them. And so I want to kind of explore in this video, like, what the reason is for that. Like, why do we do that? And the best reason that I can come up with is that that particular person represents something within ourselves that we haven't healed yet. And then so it becomes asking ourselves that question, what is it that I haven't healed yet that keeps me bound to this person? Because it's really not the person. I'm going to share with you guys my perspective on certain things. At my highest self, I understand that my ex was just a figment of my imagination, honestly, if you really think about it from the highest level possible. He was just a figment of my imagination, but at the same time, real. And I'd imagine that that's kind of like what mental illness is, when we come to a level of understanding that the rest of the world hasn't yet come to, that's not normalized yet. And so you understand that there's a dual reality. You understand that people exist and they don't exist at the same time. And then trying to explain that, and then having everybody tell you that, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, that's going to drive people crazy if you have nobody that understands where you're coming from. Because really, like, that's what it is. And so that's my dilemma. It's really not about him. It's about me. And you know what I really think? I think the main reason why it bothers me so much is because I really how did I put this? I wanted to, okay, this is the angle I'll come at it from. So if you guys watched the pet peeves video at the end, I said the next video I'm going to do is about fear of commitment. And it's been a while since I said that, and I've been wanting to record that video. And the reason that I haven't is because fear of commitment doesn't exist. And I know that in my heart. And it would have not been the truth if I had recorded that video. And that's why I didn't. But at the time I wasn't realizing it. I'm like, the normal stuff that we're conditioned to do. Beat yourself up when you're not doing something that you said you're going to do. And, you start feeling guilty, and you start feeling ashamed, and you start, blaming yourself and all these different kind of things. When in reality, you're not doing the thing for a reason. And lately I've been learning that when stuff like that happens, when I have an idea to do something, and then when it's time to do it, I'm feeling like procrastinating, or I'm feeling like it's just not the right time to do it. Just sitting with that for a little bit and letting it play itself out, letting it go through whatever filtering process it needs to go through before I'm able to actually do it, has been really beneficial. So that's the process I've been going through with that video. So I say all of that to say, what I realized was there really is no such thing as fear of commitment. People who run away from commitment, this is really not a fear. Maybe it is a fear, but it's really a running away from commitment. And what it really comes from is a deep understanding or deep knowing that the way that we have been conditioned to look at relationships is really not love, it is attachment. It's, let me bury myself in this person so I could forget all of the pain, all of the things that I don't want to think about. So majority of the time in society, we have normalized using relationships as a numbing agent or as a escape, the way that people use sex as an escape, the way that people use drugs as an escape, the way that people use whatever else, food in my case, as an escape. Relationships are being used in the same type of way. And, you know, some people will say it's an addiction to love. No, it's an addiction to avoidance. People jump into relationships to avoid themselves and the truth. So that's really what fear of commitment is. It's a deep knowing that most relationships are just coping mechanisms. And when you have a deep understanding of this and you just are cut from a different cloth and you don't quite understand it because there's nobody around you that has, like, you know, been able to break it down to you. You just know it deep in your soul. It's just a knowing. You run from those type of things and you don't understand why, and you feel like this weird person because you don't want the house and the kids and the picket fence, but everybody's told you that that's what you should want, so you pursue it and you go after it, and in some cases you get it, but in most cases, if you're anything like me anyway, it constantly evades you because it wasn't what you truly wanted to begin with, and you knew that deep down inside. So you purposely sabotaged yourself in that capacity, or in that sense, when it came to that kind of stuff. When it came to relationships, you purposely sabotaged them because you knew that it was not a true and pure relationship. You knew that it was attachment. And because you couldn't justify it, and the only justification that other people can offer is, oh, you're running from commitment. You have a fear of commitment. You have a fear of being in a relationship. No, I have a fear of losing myself in somebody else. I have a fear of avoiding the shit that I came here to accomplish. And I feel like if there ever was a fear to have, that's a much better one to have than fear of being alone and all that kind of stuff. And yes, that does sound judgmental, but I'm not here to be perfect. So, yeah, it is what it is. That part of me I haven't yet figured out fully. Like, I'm, little by little I make strides in the right direction, but I haven't fully gotten to the point where I'm able to observe something that is completely against what I know to be true and not judge it. And I know that's true for a lot of people. And the issue with that is, not the issue, but the interesting thing about it is, you see how I corrected that? Because if I said issue, that would be judgment. So it's not an issue. It's an interesting thing about that is, we all do the same thing. We all judge each other. The interesting thing is, we all judge each other for different things depending on where our consciousness is at the moment. So, coming to that understanding, we realize more and more that we're really not that different. But for some reason, we insist on finding ways to make ourselves different from other people and creating divide. For what reason? But anyway, so really, I think the situation regarding my ex now, my phone is about to die, so I'm gonna make this quick. I think what I'm holding on to with him is that of all the people that I've dated and all the relationships that I've come to, his and mine was the only one that I could see true stuff, that I could see myself growing. He was always honest with me. We were always honest with each other. A lot of stupid stuff happened. A lot of stuff that I don't want to be a part of happened. But at the end of it all, I think we understood each other at a certain level that I didn't have with other people. I had never had with anyone else before. And so I could see a glimmer of hope for it to not be that thing that I was running away from, that avoidance. I could actually see like us really pouring into each other and really helping each other evolve and grow. And I, like I said, never had that with anybody else. So that's really what the attachment is with him. And I know that's there for a reason. Our story is probably not over yet. But whatever. I don't know. I wanted to get on here and talk about that stuff for a little bit. Like, yeah, we could go with the typical advice that people would give. Oh, get under somebody else to get over whoever you're with, and all the but if I'm being honest, none of that worked. And when you're in certain relationships, it doesn't work. That only works for those attachment type relationships, because then you can just attach to that other person that you're having sex with, or shove your attachments onto them, whatever it is. But when it's something this deep, I really thought he was wish fulfillment. I could see it. I could never see it with anybody else. So yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. Till next time though. Be well.